the midst of this chaotic WrestleMania season already, we're not even through the Elimination Chamber yet. We got The Rock, we got Cody, we got Roman, we got Seth, we got what is the main event going to be at WrestleMania? Is The Rock going to be involved? Which direction are they going in? Is it a work? Is it a shoot? All this hoopla over WrestleMania season. But at the heart of the matter, no matter what happens on TV, when all of the smoke clears, we're eventually going to go back to the most important matter in all of WWE, probably the biggest story in the history of the company, and that is the Vince McMahon sexual allegations lawsuit filed by Janelle Grant. Now, I know everybody wants to talk about the creative side of things, but at the end of the day, this is not going away. And there's going to be more news coming out on it. More people are going to speak up in and out of the company. And when this goes to trial, everybody's going to be talking about it, no matter what's happening with The Rock on TV or if Cody finishes his story. More people are speaking up. And this is coming from an article that was uncovered about the allegations to Ashley Massaro, allegations she made against Vince McMahon and WWE. If you guys don't want to hear about any of the sexual assault in this report, you guys can clearly click away, and I'll see you guys when we get back to the regular news and rumors on the podcast. But prior to 2019, former WWE talent Ashley Massaro, who took her own life, was one of many talents involved in a concussion lawsuit against WWE helmed by attorneys Constantine Kairos and Erica Mirabella. Now, as a result of the suit, or a part of the suit, which was later dismissed in 2018, Massaro spoke to Mirabella extensively about her time in WWE, to be surmised as an affidavit. Their conversations covered well beyond the extent of what the suit covered, and now previously unreleased statements from those discussions have come to light, of course they have, featuring new allegations against Vince McMahon. As a report from Vice News, Massaro alleged to have witnessed McMahon prey on female WWE talent in the locker room, but ignored her until she was featured on the cover of Playboy magazine. She says this, and I quote, "During my time with WWE, I had observed Vince McMahon making out with other divas in the locker room, but he never paid any attention to me, and I assumed I was not his type. This changed after my Playboy cover was released. I was fortunate enough to be allowed to fly on the company jet and stay at the same hotel as the executives for a period of time so that I could get home faster to spend more time with my daughter." Massaro went on to recall a particularly scary incident involving McMahon, where McMahon allegedly attempted to get her alone with him in his hotel room at night, even going as far as to continually call her hotel room and her personal mobile phone. Eventually, she had to get advice from Kevin Dunn on how to deal with the situation. So Kevin Dunn, it's not going to be outright in anything that has come out yet or from Kevin Dunn specifically. But as you see here, Kevin Dunn was very well aware of all of the situations regarding Vince McMahon. If Ashley Massaro went to Kevin Dunn, what else does Kevin Dunn know of? What else is Kevin Dunn hiding? Why did Kevin Dunn just get up and leave before legitimately all this shitstorm happened at the beginning of the year with Vince McMahon, the Wall Street Journal, Janelle Grant? He got out as an excuse because he didn't want to take orders from the new administration, and he wanted to do things his own way, as he was doing under Vince McMahon. Then we find out the pieces to the puzzle fit pretty well. Kevin Dunn said goodbye to WWE, even though they asked him to stay through WrestleMania. As soon as that Wall Street Journal shitstorm hit in the beginning of the month, Kevin Dunn was gone. So Ashley went to Kevin Dunn on how to deal with the situation. That man knows way more than anybody else, I guarantee it. On one of those occasions, Vince was attempting to get me alone with him in his hotel room late at night, and I felt extraordinarily uncomfortable. He began calling the hotel room phone and my cell phone nonstop. That is the perks of being a boss, right? That is such a glowing behavior for a boss to his employees, calling their cell phones nonstop in the evening after hours. I called Kevin Dunn to explain the situation, and he said I should tell Vince I was not feeling well and would see him on TV the next day, so I did. As a result of rejecting his alleged advances, Massaro claimed that McMahon personally began writing her promo material. She alleged that this was the intent of ruining her character and in turn torpedoing her career, something which McMahon was known for and had already done to another talent whose identity was withheld. Immediately after that night, says Massaro, Vince started writing my promos for me. Vince does not write promos for female wrestlers. That is the job of the creative department. And he certainly wouldn't have, under any normal circumstances, written a promo for me. But he did. And the promos were written with the clear intention of ruining my career. I brought the first script Vince wrote for me to the WWE employee in charge of the creative team at the time, which was Michael Hayes. And he said, "You're not saying this. Who the fuck wrote this?" And I told him, Vince told you to put this in the script, and this is the way it's going to go. He said, well, these are the breaks, meaning that Vince wanted to end my career and destroy my reputation on my way out. He is known for this type of behavior, and he did this to Redacted upon her departure from WWE. Redacted, we don't know who the identity of that female is. Upon her departure from WWE. In addition, after that night, each time I walked by him, he would make vulgar sexual comments that were clearly designed to make me uncomfortable. And that is the last of the statement here that was now uncovered by Vice News. That will obviously be thrown into the pile of things against Vince McMahon as they continue to pile up one by one by one by one. John Laurinitis, his lawyer, says WWE knew about the Ashley Massaro allegations. Ashley took her own life in 2019. Following her passing, a legal filing was released detailing previous allegations she made. Massaro alleged that she was drugged and raped by a soldier while over in Kuwait, with WWE visiting the military base in 2006. Massaro claims she relayed to Vince McMahon, John Laurinitis, and other WWE executives at the time what had happened, but was told to keep it quiet so as not to create a rift between WWE and the military. In a statement to Vice News, John Laurinitis and his lawyer objected to the term cover-up in regards to how Massaro's allegation was handled internally by WWE. So basically, whatever Laurinitis is talking about in regards to the allegations, just think the opposite. Whatever he says, it's the opposite. It's exactly what's going on with Laurinitis. However, he did concede that his client knew about Ashley Massaro's allegations, as did most upper-level management. So Laurinitis continues to throw everybody under the bus. This is in contrast to WWE's official statement following the allegations becoming public. Any allegations that Mr. Laurinitis helped to cover up an alleged rape allegations is an outright lie, says Laurinitis' lawyer, Edward Brennan. Johnny, like most upper-level management, at some time became aware of the allegations and ensured all proper WWE protocols were followed, including privacy for the alleged victim. We object to use the term cover-up, as no such plan or plot ever took place to hide or assist in the alleged rape. So basically what it says there, as you read through the bullshit, is that it was indeed a cover-up. So John Laurinitis is a bullshit artist. John Laurinitis knew of the entire situation, and nobody did a fucking thing about it. Not one person, as Ashley sadly took her life back in 2019. Great. fuck John Laurinitis. Vice News also confirms that the Naval Criminal Intelligence Service formally opened an investigation into Massaro's allegations in 2019. That investigation was closed in 2020, as I'm sure Vince paid them off. Because that's exactly what he does every single time there's a fucking problem. Here's a nice check, shut the fuck up, and go away. And the results are not immediately available as they require a Freedom of Information request. TKO Group Holdings and a lawyer said to be representing Vince McMahon declined to issue a comment to Vice News on their report. Of course they didn't. Disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting, man. I don't really even know what else to say in regards to this. I mean, Laurinitis is a fucking steaming pile of shit. What a fucking piece of shit John Laurinitis is. I mean, Ashley, I'm glad, first of all, I'm glad Ashley Massaro's story's finally getting out. And I'm glad that there will be justice in some way. Sadly, she's not with us anymore. God rest her soul. She's not with us anymore. But, I mean, if the proper steps would have been taken care of when all of this was going down, instead of using this woman in the way she was used, covering it up and pretending like it doesn't fucking matter, while this woman had to live with this moment and this instance in the remaining days of her life, feeling like she had nobody to fucking talk to, feeling that the people that she worked for didn't give a shit and left her abandoned in a fucking country where she knew nobody as they took advantage of her and drugged her. I'm glad all of this now is finally starting to see the light of day and will be used against Vince McMahon when the time is right. You know, they say karma is a bitch. This is the biggest form of karma that Vince McMahon is probably looking at. This is just one instance. Imagine how many others there are that he paid off that will be uncovered. Imagine how many more people are going to be willing to come out and speak against Vince McMahon. And it's going to be great when all those people do come out and say what they really want against Vince McMahon, uncovering all of the fucking bullshit that he's been hiding for decades. I hope that they throw him in jail and bury him under the fucking jail. I hope he rots in there for the rest of his life. His career, his reputation is tarnished. It's over. He lived out 80 years of his life, and he's going to jail in the final stages of his life. There's not enough time for him to fucking rot in jail for all the things that he's done. Bret Hart, somebody that was under the Vince McMahon umbrella, one of the biggest names in the history of World Wrestling Federation, World Wrestling Entertainment. Bret Hart was given warning signs about Vince McMahon months ago, and now Bret Hart, a legit GOAT, a legit Hall of Famer, is now finally speaking up against Vince McMahon. In a new interview with Slate Magazine, Bret Hart revealed that the lawsuit being filed wasn't the first time he heard of issues arising around Vince McMahon. In fact, he claims to have been warned a few months ago that McMahon was in big trouble and that he wasn't going to be able to sweep this one under the rug. Later, Bret Hart questioned the idea that McMahon is the only figure in the company responsible for the type of behavior alleged in this suit. During his time as an active in-ring performer, Bret Hart claims that whispers of sexual abuse were prevalent throughout the industry. He says, and I quote, "I don't think this is the only incident of this kind of predatory behavior. I think you'll find that it's everywhere in WWE." And there are reports that Ari Emanuel is going to do a clean sweep of WWE and rid that type of lifestyle from the company that Vince had so comfortably instituted within the walls of WWE. Who was a part of that? I don't know. You can make your assumptions. Who knew what? Who didn't know anything? I don't know. As to why he never spoke out against what he heard about Vince McMahon, Bret Hart compared the former WWE chairman to John Gotti, and that McMahon was too powerful and rich to have any sort of serious allegations stick to him. It's kind of like The Godfather. Bret Hart says. You never know when a guy like Vince will be your enemy again over something you say or do. He's the Teflon guy. You just can't seem to get anything on him. He's just way too powerful and got too much money. So basically, Bret, while he was there as an active top guy, as the guy in that company, what are you going to do? Vince is paying you. Vince is, flying you around everywhere as the top guy, the top dog. He is pushing you to the top of the card. You're making all this amount of money. You got, a reputation worldwide for being who you are because of Vince McMahon. Their lifestyle, their life is owed at that point to Vince McMahon. Are you going to throw it away while you're getting hand over fist everything that you ever dreamed of, courtesy of Vince McMahon? No, you're going to keep your mouth shut in the time that all this is going on. That's the sad reality of the situation. Who in their right mind at that time, like Bret, is going to speak up against Vince and risk their job and risk all the life-changing opportunity and money that is coming their way while Vince McMahon is able to do what he wants? He knew he had everybody in his back pocket. He knew he had the silence of everybody because Vince gave people like Bret everything and anything that they wanted. Despite admitting that McMahon had a profound impact on his life, noting that he wouldn't be the same man I am today without Vince, Bret Hart acknowledged that McMahon is now tainted in a similar fashion to the likes of Harvey Weinstein and Jeffrey Epstein, and that he'll always be linked to what he has been alleged to do. It's like Jeffrey Dahmer, Harvey Weinstein, and Jeffrey Epstein. Vince will be a joke. He'll be used for humor, and you'll shake your head at the shock value of some joke about it. What did Vince McMahon do? He'll always be associated with the story, especially as it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It's funny that Bret says that he wouldn't be the same man without Vince McMahon. He wouldn't be the same man that he is today. I don't know why we are even in this report, in this interview, giving praise to Vince McMahon at all. Just let that one go. I mean, this man basically, and I'm going to be blunt with you, this man killed his brother for a stupid stunt that didn't need to take place. You are the man you are today because of Vince McMahon. I don't think that needs to be said by anybody. Honestly. Vince is disgusting. And the WWE will be a lot better off without him. The WWE, this stage of his life, going into his 70s, on into his 80s, it never needed Vince McMahon. We should have been done with Vince McMahon a decade and a half ago. I've always said Vince wanted to kill the company before anybody else took it over and run it better than he did. That's exactly what you're seeing play out in real life here. They're going to take everybody down with them if that is the option. If that is an option. John Laurinitis, Vince McMahon, they will take everybody down with them. Vince is not going to go quietly, especially if all of this continues to mount up more and more and more and more. I said that I do think that a settlement will be had and Janelle Grant will get everything that she wants or didn't get from Vince McMahon the first time, plus much, much more. But with Janelle Grant's attorneys and her lawyers, she wants to do more. She wants not only to be paid what she's owed, but she wants others to have an opportunity to speak out against the vile acts of Vince McMahon, and she wants to make not only her voice, but the voice of many heard. Vince will take everybody down with him if that is the only option that he is stuck with. And like I said, he would rather kill WWE than watch WWE flourish without him. That's always been the case. So more news on this as it becomes available. John Laurinitis, Vince McMahon, Janelle Grant lawsuit, not going to go away, even though we are on the road to WrestleMania and things are starting to really heat up with The Rock, Cody Rhodes, and Roman Reigns. I will keep you guys posted on everything regarding this situation. And as always, rest in peace to Ashley Massaro for the absolutely vile, disgusting, and terrible act that was covered up and nobody did a fucking thing about it. And God rest Owen Hart's soul. Bret Hart is just one of many that is going to start to speak up against the vile acts of Vince McMahon. Guys, thank you so very much for all your support. If you did enjoy today's video, please hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button down below, turn on the bell for more notifications. And go check out all the other content on the channel. There is a ton of it. And it's been the biggest week of the podcast in its history this month already. And we are only 10 days through. Guys, I will be back with more content tomorrow as well. Tomorrow, we'll talk about the shocking removal of Scott D'Amore from Impact TNA and why he was indeed fired and how none of it makes any sense whatsoever. I'll see you guys tomorrow right back here on Off the Script.